Welcome back, friends. You must be eager for another story. Shortly after the destruction of my homeland of Albion, I went on a journey of self-discovery. Through this journey, I found many friends and many ancient ruins. The pilgrimage gave me time to reflect on all that I had lost and how to move forward with that loss. This is the story of how a man, alone and broken, found himself. This was my journey. Okay. Alright. I guess it's time to keep moving. I've had my nap. As I stood up from my meditation, I took a look around me at the endless desert that I had found myself in. I had been traveling for quite some time, not sure where I was going. Not sure where I'd come from anymore. Everything just kind of blurring together. Off in the distance I saw what looked to be a sort of banner, a monument. The only thing in this ocean of desert. With no other destination in mind, I decided to follow it. As I finally reached the summit, I could see it was some sort of burial mound. These markers were used to mark the dead. I continued forward and could see that there were many of these very same markers. Perhaps it was a war zone. Perhaps some great tragedy happened. I slid down the dunes of sand as I saw another building off in the distance. This one had the name of James on it. Charlie, Veronica, Tyler. Every single one of these people had a name. Every single one of them had a story, much like my own. What happened to them? What lives did they lead? How did their stories end? These were questions that I asked myself as I continued to the ruins of the building in front of me. As I climbed upon the ruins, I saw what looked like fragments of cloth floating in the air, and a glowing symbol, that of which I knew not what it meant. Going closer, however, I stopped in awe. This light surrounded me, engulfed me. and these cloths. I found them adding onto my own robe. This magic allowed me to fly for a short period of time. And in doing so, slightly leave my bonds. I continued on amongst the graveyard of the sand as I found more of these cloths. It felt almost like they were leading me somewhere. More and more off in the distance. And just as these cloths were leading me somewhere, the tombstones followed. There were numerous buildings and monuments off in the distance. Unsure of which one I should go to, I knew I had the time to visit them all eventually. After all, what does a man who has nothing have left except for time? Standing inside of one of the ruins, I could see more of these tombstone-like carvings. I called out, but no one responded. It was almost as if my words were useless. I went back inside the temple to see if I could notice any kind of change, but there was none. All that was left was the endless desert sands. Deciding to once again go back to the ruins I had seen. The pits were endless, as was the destruction. At one point, this was someone's home. At one point, this could have been my own. I saw glowing inside of the ruins, but knew not what it meant. Unable to interact with it, I moved on. More of these strange floating cloths had found me. And I was not sure how to regenerate them. There was something strange about these ruins. Something empty, once lived but now gone. Lives once lived, but now were lost. A desolation of sorts. Who could have lived in these ruins? I asked myself. Why were they so abandoned? So empty, so wrong. These were questions I knew I may never get an answer to, but questions I still had nonetheless. I saw another glowing on top of the pillar that I kept trying to reach out to, but I just couldn't seem to make the distance. Unable to reach it for the time being, I put it aside. This temple was almost familiar to me. I sang out, and more of these strange cloths fled open. I sang out again. I called to the cloths, and they seemed to hear my song, my sorrow, my pain, and they joined in with me. And helped me to fly. I had reached the light, and it once again joined with my robe. A new song had been learned. The music was listening. The music was always there. And yet somehow, always empty. Always wanting more. I looked around and surveyed the desert that I had found myself in. The ruins of what once may have been a great civilization. Empty, foreboding, gone. And I had found another light, another song. Unable to just leave it be, I did the only thing I knew. I wandered again, searching for more, searching for answers of some kind. There had to be a reason. And I had found that reasoning. I found the song once more. It was time for me to leave, to take my presence. This land held nothing more for me, it seemed. And so I, too, must take my leave. I had found a great obelisk of sorts. And as the lights surrounded me once more, I sat down in meditation. My eyes glowed with wondering and curiosity, not knowing the figure that stood before me. Yet the figure showed me a mural of sorts. These symbols, these lights that I had seen here in the desert. They took pictures of birds and plants. I could hear them chirping and water rushing. It showed me figures of others like me in robes. Other travelers. Other mysteries. As the gate in front of me opened, I left my meditation, wondering what it was that I had just seen. Was it a warning? Or was it a prophecy? Or maybe it was just some ancient beings trying to communicate. I don't know to this day. All I know is that my path forward was opened, and I could continue on my journey. After traveling through the temple, I found myself in a waterfall of sand. At the edge of the temple, I knew there was no going back. But that's how much of life is. Constant forward movement. I could always look back, but the gates had closed behind me. There was no turning back. Forward was the only way left now. And so forward I went. Finding more of the cloth, even some cloth that was larger, I found it reacted to my voice when I sang. And so sang I did. With my voice, it activated some sort of contraption, sending more of these banners out into the world, forming some kind of a bridge. These bridges look to have once been destroyed. Maybe I could repair them. I saw more banners in the distance, and so I followed. These red banners of sorts, they filled the sky. They rebuilt the bridges. I could continue with my journey. Yet there's still more to be done. Always so much more to be done. Yet once again, I just continued on. I'm not sure why these things reacted to my voice. But as I found more lights, so too did my song grow as well. With the bridge almost complete, there was only one banner left I needed to go. And so, going I did. Once again, over on the giant cliff face, I saw another light. I saw many lights. Unsure of what they were, or what their connection to me was. Why must I follow these lights? Why do they react to my voice? What was this strange desert place I found myself in? Would I ever have the answers I seek? Something told me, no. Deciding to try and reach the other light, I flew up the mountainside. only just barely making it. Behind the mountain, however, I found a secret. A hidden mural showing the ancient civilization buried in the sands. What was this place? What mysteries did it hold? What kind of ancient people lived here? I had so many questions, and yet no answers. Never any answers, only more questions. I reflected upon my time in Albion. The war that raged on for many years, the destruction of my home and my people. Had it always been like this? Was this how it was always meant to be? No. Something about this wasn't right. I sang my song to the I sang my song to the fabric once again, and it completed the bridge. It is time for me to leave this place as well. As the beacon called me onwards, I knew that maybe there is more that I would find out about this place by following it. As I walked across the bridge made of cloth, I wondered. All of this had to have been created by someone, something, some ancient civilization, some sort of magic, science, what have you. But all of this came from somewhere, something. Where did they go? Why did their roads, their fabric, look like my robes that were given to me by an old friend? Was he part of this ancient civilization? Did they know about this? All these thoughts raced through my head as I found another obelisk and more of these strange funeral-looking pillars. I decided to light them up again and listen to what the oracle had to tell me. Sitting down once again in meditation, I gazed upon the oracle in front of me. "What wise words do you have for me, great owl?" I asked him. They stayed silent, however. Suddenly they sang a song once again, and I had yet another vision, a vision of great towers. I saw more of the oracle creatures, and what looked like to be some sort of train. A great city is what they were guiding me towards. Maybe one that's not in ruins like the rest of what I've seen as of yet. As the vision subsided, the sand parted ways and allowed me safe passage. I stopped but for a moment to look back at the oracle and where I'd come from. But only a moment. There was nothing for me left back that way. My home destroyed, my people gone. I continued forward. As I passed through the temple once more, I came upon a giant hill and saw a mountain off in the distance. The mountain was shooting some sort of star. Maybe it would lead me somewhere. I could hear it soaring through the distance, louder and louder as it approached. Where do you go, great star? What secrets do you hold? Following the star, I felt I would get some answers, maybe. As it crashed in the horizon, I knew not where it landed, only the general area. I decided to follow it. Perhaps I would find something, anything that could give me answers. It's not like I had much of anything else to go off of after all. I continued to climb the great hill of sand, oftentimes falling. So, when everything else failed, I flew. There was something back there. Something hidden. And knowing I could not climb over the mountain, instead I decided to climb around. The winds were too strong. I was not able to make it. I would have to find another route. I heard a loud screeching of sorts, and I could not determine where it came from. Was it the ruins in front of me? As I approached them, the sound got quieter and quieter. I sang out to the cloth once more, but it was too far away. It could not hear me. I got closer and I tried again. Hello? I called out to it. It seems I had released a creature of sorts. Where did this creature go? Hello there, my friend, I called out to it. Hello. I showed it that I too could fly like it could. Behold, I found more ruins. Singing to this creature gave me a strength that I did not know I had. There was that sound again. The loud screeching. I knew not where it came from. And now there are two of these magnificent creatures. It was like living fabric of a sort. Ribbons of sentience. They were as beautiful as they were mystifying. I continued to follow my new friends. As they played in the sand, I knew maybe this is where I was meant to be. In this time, this place, these ruins, I knew not what they were or where they came from, but I could feel them calling to me. These things were alive. Not ribbons, but rather creatures. Creatures of some living fabric. What secrets did the original inhabitants hold? I called to my friends once more, and soon I was able to fly once more. When I reached the top of the tower, I found another light. And my robe grew longer. Still unsure of where to go, I tried to reach out towards the mountain once more. What was this tower? What was this strange place? I do not know. Only empty sand, endless desert. As I grew closer and closer towards the mountain, I saw more and more ruins. What was this place? Why was I feeling so attracted to it? What was pulling me closer and closer? I do not know. Off in the distance, I heard a sound like roaring thunder, a rumbling that shook the ground. It was close. I was here. The ancient pathway. I swam over to my friends, or rather flew over. What was this ancient, decrepit building? As before, I had more answers, but all those answers only did is give me even more questions. My friend had given me a ride, but only to the next level. Freeing these new friends of mine, I knew would be a great idea. As the building loomed ominously in the distance, I had only one path forward. Some sort of mechanical being. I saw lights of green inside, flashing like eyes almost, as more of those sentient ribbon creatures awaited inside. What was this land? Why was it so desolate? I had once again found another obelisk. Sitting down to meditate once more, I asked the creature, What happened to these lands? But the creature only sang. This was once a great city, it told me. A city of light and beauty. A city of joy and song. A once great and proud and magnificent town. But its song was sad. Something happened to these once great people. I managed to free the rest of my cloth friends, and they seemed to appreciate all that I had done for them, much as I had appreciated their help as well. I sang to the one near me, and it gave me a ride along its friends. We were going off into the sunset. And this, my friends, this is where I shall end the tale for today. I want to thank you all for giving an old man some company, allowing me to tell my stories, allowing me to just reminisce. If you liked this story, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell in the corner. Let me know that there will be more stories to come. Until next time, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night, my friends, and may the wolves guide you to a better tomorrow.